girls! How are you today? It's Lynn and I am back and I'm super excited about this video. The reason for that is because it's my first collab, so I am super happy to be doing this. I am collabing with a group called Geeks and Beauties, and I highly recommend if you're new, if you're just starting out, if you're nerdy like me, if you're into beauty stuff like me, or you just want to meet some really awesome people, I highly recommend you join that group, participate, check it out. These are some awesome people who I have just really enjoyed not only watching but getting to know on a slightly more personal level. So I want to thank them for including me, even though I'm kind of a newbie here on YouTube. And without further ado, I will tell you what we're doing today. Today I am going to be reviewing this wonderful book. This book is called Demons and Djinn, and it is a compilation by several different urban fantasy, sci-fi, futuristic, apocalyptic type authors who are all, I think, really wonderful in their own way. There are 13 stories in here, so I'm only going to go over a few, but I hope that it encourages you to check out some of these authors and see if you can find a new favorite like I have. And despite, you know, the sweet, sweet piece of man candy on the front, there are some very seriously well-written little novellas and short stories and longer stories in here. So, but first, I want to go over some of my essentials for when I'm sitting down to read. Now, when I'm sitting down to read, this is in Happy Pretend Land, where I have a big fat glass of wine in this hand, and my husband's playing video games, and my kids are asleep, preferably over at Grandma's. And yeah, because I'm a big old nerd, what I like to do is sit down and just read all night long, because that's really some of the only me time that I have left. And when I do that, I have some certain, I want to say a ritual, that sounds kind of creepy, but I have certain things that I like to do. So, the first thing that I really enjoy doing is using a candle, and this is from Bath & Body Works, and I scored this in their sale for like $2 in their last semi-annual or annual or whatever it was, but it's where they had a whole bunch of stuff for almost nothing. And this is Tuscan Herbs. As you can see, I've already burned it a little bit, and I enjoy it. I really like it. It's like fresh. It feels like fresh air with, maybe there's some flower bushes outside at the neighbors or something. I don't know. It's just this really light, subtle, but beautiful scent, and it's one of my favorite candles currently. And I always like to light one or more candles while I'm reading, just for the ambiance more than anything, and also for the scent. It just makes me feel relaxed, it makes me feel soothed, it makes me feel a little bit pampered, and I like that. As far as beauty goes, I do have some different little habits that I like to do to keep myself feeling good about myself. I don't know, hopefully looking good, who knows? Ask my husband. But as far as I know, it works. So, one thing I like to do is I like to use lip balm, and I know these are like kind of the devil right now, but this is my EOS in Sweet Mint, and I don't know, I love these things. I got them at Costco. I got like a 6-pack of them, and it just smells like mint. It smells kind of more like spearmint than peppermint. It's a sweeter, minty flavor, aroma, whatever. And I said I have several of these that I really enjoy going back and forth between. I know that YouTube doesn't like them right now. Everybody says they're drying, but I don't know. They're supposed to have jojoba oil and all kinds of other good stuff for your lips in them. And I haven't had a problem with them drying my lips. In fact, quite the opposite. I feel like they have moistened them and made them just juicy and delicious. So. But as far as nail polish goes, there are some things I like to do, and one thing I like to do is paint my nails a whole bunch. So my cuticles are completely dried, fried crap right now, and generally always. Also, my nails tend to flake and peel, and I was not blessed with good nails in the nail department. So there are a couple of things I like to do to try and combat that as much as possible. I feel like it helps. Maybe it's just a big fat placebo, but I feel like it helps. It makes me feel good, so I do it. One thing that I like to do is I like to use like a balm or a cuticle oil, and this is Juleps Your Cuticles Look Thirsty, and it's just like this. It's just a cream. It's really thick and heavy, and I really enjoy how it feels. I like how thick it is. This is just pure goodness, and it's really helped my cuticles a lot. They're still not great, but they're better than they were. Another thing I like to do is strip my nails bare, and I will put on this rosehip oil, and I'll actually combine it with some jojoba oil I have too. I'll just do like a drop or two of each, and I will rub them across my nail beds, across my naked nails, all just trying to get it to absorb and soak into that skin. And I think it really helps. I used to bite my cuticles really bad. I'm much better about it now, but again, they've been through some trauma, and they get painted. Well, my nails get painted all the time, so it can really dry you out. So I like to take care of it in that way. And then again, I'll just set it, forget it, wipe this part of my hand off, keep this part of my hand gooey, good to go. Another thing that I like to do when I'm reading is I like to be warm even when it's 100 degrees outside. So I'll turn the fan on, turn the air on, make it nice and cool in here, and then I will get some socks out. And these are just some, they're clean, don't worry. These are just some socks that my husband got me. He knows I love monkeys, and he knows that I love socks. So he snags them for me all the time, different little goofy monkey socks. So these are one of my favorite pairs. They're nice and thick, and they're just like the little ankle socks you can put on a foot balm or repair or whatever, lotion basically, and put these on and it feels like you're at a spa. So, except much, much, much less expensive. I love to do that. Finally, my last but possibly my most important reading essential is this big old blanket. Or any blanket, but this one specifically for me. We bought this at Costco for like 15 or 20 bucks, and I have to tell you, this thing is the best blanket I have ever had in my life. I curl up on my couch. I feel like I'm just as comfortable as I can be, almost like I'm in bed, and I start reading, and it is just, it's an experience. That's all I can say. I really, really enjoy it. Okay, again, this is the book Demons and Djinn, and I was, is my light reflecting? I'm sorry, guys. I was sent an ARC of this. It is out now. It is on Amazon. I will link it below, and also all of the individual authors are on Amazon. If you buy this book, you can find the links in there, or you can just obviously go look them up, because they all have author pages, and they're all in, I would say, varying stages of their career. Some of them have a couple of ebooks out, some of them have many. There's nobody I wouldn't recommend in here. Obviously I had favorites, but there's none that were bad, and that's rare for that many stories and that much variation. So I was really pleased with that. The writing styles, while they were very different, I found that they were all very polished. These people all have good editors. You know, you never know when you're buying an ebook. Sometimes it can be just total crap, and you're like, hire me, I can edit this, I know English, I can show you the way to grammar. But that is not the case here. There's, you know, maybe a little typo here or there, very few and far between, and no more than in some, you know, quickly slapped together print copies. That is the one disadvantage I find reading ebooks instead of print copies, is it seems like editing and grammar have kind of gone out the window, and that irritates the living hell out of me because I am a grammar freak. But again, not a problem here. Something I really liked. I mean, I like the man candy on the front too. Who doesn't, ladies or gents or whoever's into that kind of thing? I don't judge. I think, yeah, I think it would work out. I think it looks good, but just kidding. So, you know, although he's a hottie, I don't know if this is the appropriate cover art, honestly, because these are some really well-written stories. I do have three in particular that really stood out to me as favorites, and again, I just think this is personal preference. I don't think this is because they're better. I really don't. So I will go through those, and I'm just going to go by the order that they appear in the book, and we'll talk about them, and you can see if there's something that might appeal to you. The first story is by Christine Pope, and it is called Chosen, Book 1 of the Djinn Wars, and it is a really interesting post-apocalyptic, can't talk today, post-apocalyptic urban fantasy. Blech, that was a good one. So it is a really good example of that. I think that one thing I like about it is that it has a really strong leading character. She's young, she's attractive, but, you know, more than that, she does have flaws. She is written as an actual human being and not just, you know, a perfect saint. You know, obviously she has problems because most of the population has actually died off from a plague, and so, of course, it is a pretty typical story, as in most of the population dies off, she's left alive, she has to fend for herself, she meets this mysterious man, and it turns out that he is a lot more than he seems, and I don't want to spoil it for you because I really do want you to read it, but there is definitely some twists and turns in this that you may or may not expect. I don't know, I kind of saw some of them coming, but not all of them. And again, the writing level is superb. It is a really nice, compelling story, and it's one where I would like to read the next story. I don't know, I probably should have checked if Christine Pope has this next book 2 of the Djinn Wars out, but maybe I'll check that and leave that in the description box below for you guys if you are interested. But if she does, I'm definitely buying it. I am a fan. So, okay, and we'll move on to the next story. Next story, or rather season of stories, she separates them into episodes, but you have all the episodes and all of season 1 in this compilation. It is by Sarra Cannon, and again, I'll have all the spelling and links for the authors down below because I really do want you to check them out. Even if you don't buy this particular book, I hope you will check the authors out. And this is called Sacrifice Me. And again, it's season 1, and this is a kind of a cool book. It's about a girl named Frankie who discovers, she's kind of always known all her life, I guess, but she discovers that she has magical powers, and there's this whole underbelly of the world that none of us, normal human beings know about that have magical powers, and we have werewolves, vampires, I mean, we have all kinds of different guys, and, they're all interwarring and, vying for power, and she has to kind of go on a journey to solve the mystery of her mom's disappearance and, find out about her powers and about herself. And of course she meets a really hot guy, because why not? So, and it's just a really, really good story. I was hooked on this one. I don't know, the plot isn't all that unique, honestly, but the writing in it was really, really good, and she has a way of keeping you hanging on. And I did go look this one up because I was totally going to buy the next installment. It's not available yet, I guess. I couldn't find any information on when it would be available, but I sure hope it becomes available because I am definitely going to be a customer for this one. I really, really enjoyed it. Okay guys, and the final book I want to talk about is by a lady named Pippa DaCosta, and I've really enjoyed reading this lady. I was actually lucky enough to be chosen to read the ARC for a couple of her books in a different series called Girl from Above, and I will link my blog review for those down below because they are really, really good. They're intense. They're intense, and they definitely have sexual content, so if either of those things bothers you, sex, violence, probably skip them, but I will say they don't revolve around it. There's definitely more to the stories than that, which I find really, to be important. Personally, I don't mind violence, I don't mind sex as long as they aren't gratuitous and they go with the story. So we all have our own reading preferences though, so obviously if that's a little too much for you, totally understood, no judgment. I just really enjoy her writing. So the story that is in the compilation is called Beyond the Veil, and it's book 1 in the Veil series. And I believe there are more books available from that series. I'm almost positive of it, actually. And I plan on checking those out as well because it's a really good book. It's about Muse. Her name is Muse. This is kind of interesting because she is of the magical world, and she is actually trying to blend in with humans. So she is a really, really strong female character. Pippa writes really strong female leads as well as really strong alpha male leads. And they kind of vie for power and they kind of vie for control back and forth, and I think that's a really cool dynamic. I really like when, the girl isn't a simpering little wallflower victim. That actually really irritates me when that is the case. So these stories are obviously just perfect for me. But I was really lucky. Pippa did send me this ARC of all this compilation of stories, and I was really touched that she did. So I enjoyed reviewing it, I enjoyed these stories, and I enjoyed the other stories as well. I've read part or all of everything in this book, and there isn't anything that I didn't like, flat out didn't like. There were some, again, the ones I've talked about, that I liked more than others. So, that is my review of Demons and Djinn and some of my reading essentials. So, had a little peek into my life. I hope you don't mind. I want to thank Lainey from Geeks and Beauties and all of the other people in the compilation. If you've come over from one of their channels, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I do hope you'll let me know what you think of this video. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around, leave a comment, and if you do similar videos, I would love to hear about them. If you'd like to hear more book reviews and stuff like that, this is really my favorite thing to do on earth. As much as I enjoy beauty, as much as I enjoy lifestyle, I really, really love reading books. I am very passionate about it, so if there's any books you'd like to see reviewed, if there's anything you're wondering about any author, I would be more than happy to check it out, buy the book, read it, let you know what I think. It's really not a hardship for me. I have kind of a book buying problem, or an e-book buying problem now, because it's just so much more convenient and my kids don't rip them up and destroy them, so that's a huge plus. Anyway, I want to again thank any and everyone who watched this video for watching, and I hope that I will see you soon, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys!